We are in the valley of the Altmühl River with a mobile home for 4 days and ride by bike from Treuchtlingen on the Altmühl River to the Weltenberg Monastery at the Danube breakthrough. Our first stop today is Beilngries. The story goes back to the year 1007. The city is surrounded by the Altmühl River in the south, the main Danube Canal in the north, and the small Sulz River in the city itself. Our walk begins at the Führer Tower and takes us through the main street. Many houses on the main street have attractive facades and step gables, such as the mouth in here, or the wealthier half-timbered house on the other side. The former Prince Bishop's grain box, where the guest's house is now housed, stands majestically in the middle of the village, behind some beautifully restored town houses that now house shops and restaurants. There is already a lot going on here at lunchtime, and the outdoor restaurants are well attended.
Ja, eine Kneipe und Fahrradfahrer ohne Ende.
We see a lot of cyclists with luggage. Meanwhile, it is also very warm and people are looking for the protection of their parasols. On the church square in front of the neo-Baroque Catholic parish church of St. Walburga, the Virgin Mary stretches her head into the white and blue sky. Inside the church is bright and not, as is so often typical in Bavaria, laden with superfluous pomp. And yet there are wonderful Baroque altars with various carvings that can be admired on the left and right as well as on the high altar. A little further down the street is the small Rococo chapel of the Frauenkirche. Next to it, in the building that looks like a monastery, is the local toy museum, which we don't visit. At the end of our visit to Beilngries, we passed the former fortification with a curtain wall and 2 restored towers from the Middle Ages. And then it goes out of the Upper Bavaria region and into Dietfurt under Altmühl in the Upper Palatinate region. And there are not only people from the Upper Palatinate here in Dietfurt, but also Chinese during the carnival season, and that has to do with the fact that there was a marching band called the Chinese. From 1928 onwards, the people of Dietfurt also appeared in a Chinese costume at the carnival. And since then, crowds of Chinese have come to this special place again and again at this time. And even the fountain in front of the town hall is a reminder of this fact. There is a waymark in the front of the town hall. It commemorates the establishment of the place in 1144 and the distance to the state capital Munich. The road through the town is more likely a pedestrian zone than a thoroughfare. The Franciscan monastery is located on the outskirts of Dietfurt. Today it is considered to be the oldest Christian Zen monastery in German-speaking countries. The monastery chapel has beautiful panel paintings on the ceiling and an imposing, simple Baroque altar. In 2010, the monastery only had 350 years of existence. This Francis of Assisi fountain was donated to commemorate this. In the extension of the monastery we find remains of the city wall. All that remains to be mentioned is that the Altmühl River flows into the main Danube Canal south of Dietfurt. The canal largely uses the old riverbed of the Altmühl and the bed of the Ludwig-Danube main canal, which was completed in 1848. Eggersberg Castle is a former Hofmark, a court with jurisdiction above the Altmühl near Riedenburg. Eggersberg was first mentioned in a document in the 9th century. Eggersberg Castle there fell into different hands, including the Wittelsbach, Hilpoltstein and Pappenheimers. The Hofmark and the lower jurisdiction associated with it until the middle of the 19th century remained with the von Bassus family until the end of the Second World War, who last used it as a hunting lodge. The house came into the ownership of the lawyer Robert Weigand in 1962, who turned the property into a hotel and museum. From up here we can see the Castle Rosenberg. At the foot of the castle is the town of Riedenburg, our destination for today. Tomorrow we continue via Kelheim to Weltenburg at the Danube Gorge.